In the 50s and 60s, smoking odds were everywhere. You had them in magazines, you had them in TV programs, and even in movies. Cigarette companies marketed smoking as a cool thing to do. And to normalize smoking, they always had supermodels on the covers of magazines holding a stick of Marlboro or whatever crappy cigarette brand they wanted to promote. They even convinced women that smoking was safe during pregnancy. Yeah, that sounds insane right now, but this was very common back in the day. One publication in the 1970s was all it took to kill the cigarette hype once and for all. From that moment, people will give you a bombastic side-eye whenever you put out a stick in public. Fast forward to 2025. And sports betting and gambling are going through a similar phase, just like smoking did in the 60s. But this time, the hype is riding on a nitro-boosted choo-choo train. Ever since the US lifted the ban on sports betting in 2018, betting companies have been going insane with odds.
Breaking news: the Supreme Court this morning striking down the federal ban on sports betting. Now it leads.
This is a betting odd in sports jersey. This is a betting odd in a football stadium, an NBA arena, during the commercial break on your grandma's favorite TV show. Even this entire club is owned and sponsored by a betting company. This is now so bad that even random clips on the internet have stake.com sponsorship tags. What a time to be alive. Run from it. Evade it. You can't escape gambling odds. It just feels like everywhere you go, you must run into some obnoxious ad trying to show some betting app to you. As annoying as it is to see 101, Bet360 and 1xBet odds all day, the truth is that gambling is as old as any organized human sporting activity. Once people are gathered to watch an event, someone is going to place a bet on it. If you have an option, put your money where your mouth is. And this goes way back. During the golden age of the Roman Empire, bookies were taking bets on gladiators in the Colosseum. Kings and queens placed a bet on their favorite knights and gladiators. Even going as far back as the Mayans, people used to play a ball game where the winners sacrificed the losers to the gods. So yeah, betting is as human as prostitution. Okay, that's a stretch, but hear me out. Nothing beats the feeling of watching your team score a last-minute winner in a cup final. Imagine what it feels like to be a Real Madrid fan these past few years. Ecstasy galore. Now, imagine if that goal is the final game left on your tenfold parlay. Exactly, you get the point. And this double dose of excitement could be yours with a click of a button on SportyBet or PariMatch. But the thing is, sport betting and gambling weren't always available to everyone. Back in the day, way back in the day, you had to deal with some shady bookies if you want to bet on a horse. As the century rolled on, every bounce, kick, or toss of the ball became an opportunity to make money. And all the players and athletes were all on the shenanigans. Betting became rampant in boxing, horse racing, motorsports, baseball, and variations of American and European football. Underpaid athletes didn't hesitate to rig games or take a dive to earn a few bucks on the side. Mobsters used threats to rig sporting events and tilt the odds to their favor. Today, nothing has changed. If you compare different eras, the 1919 Black Sox scandal is no different from the 2006 Calciopoli scandal. It's the same formula. Money change hands and players fix games. But something about gambling today feels way worse than before. Yes, mobsters and bookies don't go around bashing people's heads. Yes, paying off a top-flight ref may not be as easy as it was during the Great Depression. But in the current climate, the universal legalization of sport betting is more contagious than the peak of COVID. Companies like stake.com and William Hill keep pumping out ads to make sure they suck out every penny from sports fans. Even millionaires and pro athletes are falling prey to this influx of betting odds. Some recent victims include Shane Pinto, Lucas Paqueta, and Ivan Toney. But the most high-profile sports gambling case in modern era has to be Japanese superstar Shohei Ohtani. Shohei Ohtani is the face of baseball, so think of him as Kylian Mbappe or Victor Wembanyama, but for baseball. Did a superstardom protect him for the clutches of sport betting? Yeah, right, not a chance.
So I never bet on baseball or any other sports, or never have asked somebody to do it on my behalf. I have never went through a bookmaker to bet on sports.
Shohei Ohtani's interpreter, Ibe Mizuhara, was recently sentenced to 57 months in prison for illegally transferring $17 million, that's about 14 million pounds, from the athlete's bank account. The point I'm trying to make here is, if professional athletes, who make millions by the way, can't resist the urge to bet on a game, then what chance do young athletes have? The situation with sports betting is even worse outside the US. This is the only way out. Refs can fix a game for a price of 2 bottles of vodka. You don't even need to dangle them off a bridge to get them to do what you want. Every young man with a smartphone has SportyBet and many other apps for placing bets and monitoring live odds. They follow influencers for weekly updates, hoping for sure odds and fixed games in the Lithuania regional 3rd division. To be honest, impressionable young men are the usual victims of gambling. I blame influential celebrities like Drake and Floyd Mayweather for making gambling a cool pastime. Even if you don't watch sports, you've probably heard about the Drake curse. It's now a weekly tradition for Drake to bet millions on massive sporting events and lose thousands of dollars in the process. But the irony is that while Drake bets with house money, young people bet with a house rent. A study in the US showed that 60% of men bet on sports daily or weekly. Think about how insane that sounds. That's 6 out of every 10 people you know. In developing countries like Nigeria, the number is close to 70%. In these societies, betting is now a subject of conversation, from playgrounds to sport bars. Even with the harsh economic conditions, Nigerians have somehow managed to bet over $2 billion daily. That's billions with a B. A wise pointer once said, where poverty festers, gambling prospers. And he was damn right. The annoying thing about the gambling epidemic is that sport teams are the biggest enablers. Turn on any sport events and you will face a barrage of betting odds on the team jerseys, advertising boards, and even names of stadiums. Over 20% of average viewing time is spent looking at odds. So if you watch a 90-minute game, some gambling or betting odds will be in your face for at least 20 minutes of it. And if both teams have sponsors like Hollywood Bets or Betway, then it's about 60 minutes of uninterrupted interaction with betting odds. That has to be unhealthy, for crying out loud. Okay, how about this for hypocrisy? Newcastle FC until recently had Phone 88 as a sponsor before the Saudis performed their sport washing magic. And check this out, the club's captain, Kieran Trippier, who has been in trouble for betting on games. And the cherry on top, the club's marquee signing, Sandro Tonali, just finished serving a ban for multiple betting breaches during his time in Italy. You can't make this stuff up. Make no mistake, betting on sports is double the excitement for fans. There's just that extra adrenaline that comes from the jeopardy of placing your rent money on Manchester United and Andre Onana. Once you have money running on a game, you become extra invested in every event as the game progresses. But the thing about betting is that even if your favorite team gets spanked 5-0, you can go to bed with a smile on your face and a bubbling account balance. If your team wins, you go into the rest of the weekend boozing for half the price. The year of the underdogs. The odds of Portugal winning the Euros was 10-1. The odds of the Chicago Bulls winning the World Series was 11-1. The Cavs were 14-1 to beat the record-breaking Warriors, despite being down 3-1. And who can forget Leicester City winning the EPL by defying the 5,000-1 odds. These were feel-good stories that made us believe in the magic of sports. But you know who laughed at the bank? The betting companies. Because the house always wins. And just before you can start wondering why you should quit betting, they will repackage the FOMO and resell you these feel-good stories. Your mind will come up to the 1001 reasons to continue spending money on their apps. What if this one hits? What if my lucky break is just around the corner? But let's not fool ourselves. The economy is the ultimate enabler for gambling addiction. Inflation is rampant, cost of living is rising, AI is running the job market for young people, and Trump is playing peekaboo with China. Young men and women from poor economic backgrounds see gambling as their only legal means of escaping poverty. People are utterly desperate. When you find yourself in this horrible situation, that meaningless Steph Curry's three-pointer has a lot of significance because it's the difference between having a 3-square meal or waking up with a generational debt. Betting companies are also waving the carrots in front of athletes. That's why you see UFC fighters promoting stake.com or some shady pointers Instagram after the biggest win of their careers. I believe that professional athletes spend their money however they want. If clubs can get sponsorship deals from betting companies, athletes and players deserve a chunk of that pie. And if politicians can make money from gambling lobbyists and shilling altcoins, young people deserve the right to lose and make money from legalizing online betting. As for the long-term impact of rampant betting, I think the future is bleak.
Do you know that there was an illegal gambling operation going on just down the street from where you live?
No, it was illegal. What is that? I ain't heard nothing about that.
Mark my words, sport betting will ruin the games we love. With fantasy sports, fandom and loyalty to a team are declining. Every fantasy sport apps like FPL, FanDuel and Underdog Fantasy are nothing but gambling gateways masquerading as entertainment platforms. Fans will continue supporting players who earn the most points or biggest bucks regardless of affiliation. Manchester United supporters will captain Mohamed Salah against your team. The game is truly gone.
The game's gone, innit? The game's gone.
The game's gone. The game's gone.
With a lot riding on games, fans will feel more entitled to Horvally attacks on players. Have you been paying attention to the online chatter? There has been a massive increase in vile racist and xenophobic attacks against black players. Whenever they miss a big chance, it never fails. Once the game is over, cue bananas and monkey emojis. If things don't change soon, players will continue to get nicked for gambling. The integrity of lower leagues will become completely shattered due to mistrust. And finally, government will have to step in when a fan shoot an athlete over a lost bet.
Do not get it twisted. Do not gamble. Do not start. Gambling is entertainment and entertainment only. You won't break even. You won't win. You won't do any of that. Do you understand? You will only go into debt and ruin your fucking life. I do this because I fucking love it. I do it all the time. It's entertainment for people who can afford it. And that's it. You will lose. I'm losing. Do you understand? I am down millions.
If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe as we bring you more quality sports content and stories.